In the modest town of Atchison, Kansas, Amelia Earhart was born into a world of possibility. Her parents, Edwin and Amy Earhart, though facing their own struggles, provided a nurturing environment that encouraged curiosity and resilience. Education was a cornerstone of Amelia's upbringing. Despite frequent relocations in her father's unstable career, she excelled in her studies, driven by an innate love of learning that was supported by her mother's encouragement. From a young age, Amelia was an avid reader, often found with her nose in a book about far-off places or the latest scientific discoveries. Her childhood was filled with imaginative play that mimicked the adventures she read about, foreshadowing the path she would one day take. Amelia's interest in how things worked was evident in her play. She was fascinated by her uncle's collection of gadgets and tools, often disassembling and reassembling household items to understand their workings, a trait that would serve her well in her future aviation career. Amelia's first real exposure to aviation came at the Iowa State Fair when she was just 10 years old. Initially unimpressed by what she described as a thing of rusty wire and wood, it wasn't the aircraft that captured her imagination, it was the possibility of flight. While other children her age were intimidated by the loud engines and the daring nature of flight, Amelia was captivated. The planes, though primitive, hinted at the potential of human ingenuity and the new frontiers it could conquer. After her initial exposure, Amelia's curiosity about aviation simmered quietly. She followed the advancements in flight technology through newspapers and magazines, slowly turning her early indifference into a passionate interest. By her teenage years, Amelia was not just observing planes but understanding them. She filled notebooks with sketches and thoughts on flight, dreaming not just of riding in planes, but of piloting them across the vast skies, a dream that would soon become a reality. In the winter of 1920, Amelia Earhart's life took a pivotal turn. After attending an air show in Long Beach, California, she took her first airplane ride, an experience that would fundamentally change her life. Enthralled, she immediately decided to learn to fly, undeterred by the challenges she would face as a woman in a male-dominated field. Under the guidance of Nita Snook, one of the first female aviators, Amelia began her flying lessons at Kinner Field. Snook, an experienced and pioneering pilot, provided not just technical instruction but also served as a role model, showing Amelia that women could indeed succeed in the world of aviation. Amelia's training was rigorous. She learned how to conduct pre-flight inspections, understand aircraft mechanics, and handle in-flight maneuvers. Each lesson brought her closer to her dream, pushing her limits and deepening her passion for flight. With every flight, Amelia's confidence grew. She was natural at the controls, quickly absorbing techniques that would make her one of the most skilled pilots of her time. Her progress was rapid, fueled by a desire not just to fly, but to excel. On May 15, 1923, Amelia Earhart achieved a significant milestone. She earned her pilot's license from the National Aeronautic Association. Becoming the 16th woman in the United States to do so, this license was not just a formal document, it was a ticket to new adventures and a symbol of her breaking traditional gender roles. With her pilot's license in hand, Amelia quickly began to make a name for herself. She participated in her first flying meet in Sierra Airdrome in Pasadena, where she set a new altitude record for female pilots by flying to 14,000 feet, a remarkable feat that garnered significant attention. As she ventured further into the world of aviation, Amelia's network expanded. She connected with fellow aviators, many of whom were pioneers in their own right, who shared valuable insights and encouraged her pursuits. These relationships were instrumental in her subsequent aviation endeavors. Even as she celebrated her early successes, Amelia was planning her next steps. Her ambition was boundless, and her license was just the beginning. She was already dreaming bigger, planning flights that would not only test her skills but also carve her name into aviation history. After earning her pilot's license, Amelia Earhart quickly set out to challenge the norms of the aviation world. Her early days in competitive flying were marked by a relentless drive to prove that women could excel in aviation just as men could. Amelia's prowess as a pilot was undeniable. She began competing in air races, often against male pilots who underestimated her. With each race, she not only gained respect but also broke down barriers, proving her skill and tenacity. Amelia was not content with just personal success. She used her growing fame to advocate for women in aviation. She spoke passionately about the potential for women in the field, inspiring a new generation to reach for the skies. In her flight log, Amelia often wrote about the challenges she faced, not just in terms of flying, but also in overcoming the societal expectations of her time. Each entry reflects her determination to push forward, not just for herself, but for all women. In 1929, Amelia Earhart participated in the first Women's Air Derby, the first transcontinental air race for women. Starting in Santa Monica and ending in Cleveland, this event was a major milestone in women's aviation, drawing significant public and media attention. Throughout the race, Amelia demonstrated not only her flying skill but also her leadership qualities. She was a calming force among the competitors, many of whom faced mechanical and navigational challenges. The Women's Air Derby did more than just test the skills of its participants. It changed public perceptions about women in aviation. Amelia and her fellow competitors received widespread acclaim, with Amelia emerging as a leading figure in the push for equality in the skies. After the Derby, Amelia became an even more prominent figure in aviation. Her success in the race and her advocacy for women pilots garnered attention from around the world, establishing her as a symbol of progress and empowerment in aviation and beyond. As Amelia Earhart set her sights on crossing the Atlantic, the preparations were meticulous. Unlike her 1928 flight where she was a passenger, this time she intended to fly solo. Every detail, from fuel calculations to emergency scenarios, was scrutinized under her watchful eye. Her aircraft, a Lockheed Vega, was specially outfitted for the daunting journey. Extra fuel tanks replaced the majority of the passenger seats, maximizing the plane's range, and state-of-the-art navigation equipment was installed to ensure her path across the North Atlantic could be as safe as possible. Understanding the physical demands of the flight, Amelia also underwent rigorous physical and psychological tests. The challenge was not just about manning the aircraft but also maintaining her stamina and focus over many solitary hours above the vast, unforgiving ocean. In interviews leading up to her flight, Amelia spoke candidly about the risks and her determination to succeed. She saw the flight as a challenge not only to her skills as a pilot but also as a chance to inspire others, particularly women, to chase their own ambitious dreams. On May 20, 1932, Amelia Earhart took off from Harbour Grace, Newfoundland, destined for Paris. Battling strong north winds, icy conditions, and mechanical issues, her flight would test the limits of her flying capabilities and her aircraft's endurance. Throughout the roughly 15-hour flight, Amelia faced numerous challenges. She navigated through thick clouds, ice formations on the wings, and even a period of mechanical failure that caused the plane to plummet several thousand feet before she regained control. After enduring hours of tension-filled flight, Amelia sighted Ireland. With fuel running low and weather worsening, she made the decision to land in a pasture near Londonderry, marking a successful end to her monumental journey. Her landing in Londonderry not only marked a successful conclusion to her flight but also earned her a permanent place in history. Amelia Earhart's solo transatlantic flight made her the first woman to accomplish such a feat, symbolizing a significant breakthrough in both aviation and women's rights. After her historic transatlantic flight in 1932, Amelia Earhart didn't rest on her laurels. She set a new altitude record by flying at 18,415 feet and continued to break barriers, including the first solo non-stop flight across the United States from Los Angeles to Newark in 1933. Amelia's relentless pursuit of excellence saw her personally overseeing the modifications to her aircraft, ensuring each was optimized not just for safety, but for breaking new records. Her technical knowledge and direct involvement in the preparations were key factors in her success. Each record Amelia set further cemented her status as a leading figure in aviation. She was celebrated around the world, receiving numerous awards and honors that acknowledged her pioneering spirit and contributions to the field of aviation. The media played a significant role in Amelia's career, with her achievements widely covered in newspapers and magazines. She became a household name, synonymous with adventure and courage, inspiring countless others to dream big and reach for the skies. Amelia Earhart was a fervent advocate for aviation, believing strongly in its potential to change the world. She traveled across the country, speaking at schools, universities, and clubs, urging public support for flight and encouraging young people, especially women, to learn to fly. Beyond her speeches, Amelia was actively involved in the development of aviation infrastructure. She worked with industry leaders and government officials to support the expansion of airports and improve air travel safety, efforts that had lasting impacts on the commercial aviation industry. Amelia also lent her image to promote commercial airlines and aviation products, understanding that public perception was key to the industry's growth. Her endorsements helped to demystify air travel for the general public, making it more accessible and appealing. Amelia Earhart's impact went beyond her flights. She was a mentor and role model to many aspiring pilots who were drawn to her charisma and conviction. Through her actions and words, she played a crucial role in shaping the future of aviation. Amelia Earhart was not only a pioneer in the air but also on the page. As an associate editor for Cosmopolitan magazine, she used her platform to write extensively about aviation, aiming to demystify flying for the general public and advocate for its broader acceptance and support. Through her writing, Amelia discussed the advancements in aviation technology and its implications for future transportation. She envisioned a world where air travel was as common as car travel, advocating for better safety standards and public policies that supported the growth of commercial aviation. Amelia also took her message directly to the public through speaking engagements across the country. She spoke passionately about the importance of aviation safety and the need for more women in aviation, influencing both policy and public opinion. The response to Amelia's articles was overwhelmingly positive, with readers praising her clear, insightful perspectives on aviation. Her ability to articulate the joys and challenges of flying helped to inspire a new generation of aviation enthusiasts. In 1929, Amelia Earhart became a central figure in founding the 99s, an international organization of female pilots. The organization was named for its 99 charter members and aimed to provide support and advocacy for women pilots who were often marginalized in the field of aviation. Under Amelia's leadership, the 99s organized transcontinental air races, provided networking opportunities, and actively lobbied for greater opportunities for women in aviation roles. Their efforts not only promoted the achievements of women pilots but also worked to ensure their equal treatment in the industry. The impact of the 99s grew rapidly, becoming a significant advocacy group in aviation. Through scholarships, education programs, and public engagement, the organization helped to change the landscape of aviation for women. Amelia's vision for the 99s was not just about creating a space for women in aviation, it was about creating a legacy. Her leadership not only paved the way for countless women to follow their dreams of flying but also cemented her role as a stalwart advocate for gender equality in aviation. In 1932, shortly after her solo transatlantic flight, Amelia Earhart set her sights on another formidable challenge: flying non-stop from coast to coast across the United States. This endeavor was not just about setting a record, it was about proving the reliability and potential of air travel for longer domestic routes. Amelia meticulously planned every aspect of her flight, from fuel management to emergency contingencies. Her approach combined a pilot's intuition with a scientist's precision, underscoring her commitment to advancing aviation as a safe and dependable mode of transport. On August 24 to 25, 1932, Amelia made her historic flight from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey. Covering approximately 2,447 miles in just over 19 hours, she not only set a new record for the fastest transcontinental flight but also became a symbol of the possibilities of modern air travel. Upon landing, Amelia was greeted by massive crowds and extensive media coverage. Her achievement was celebrated nationwide, further solidifying her status as an aviation icon and inspiring public confidence in the safety and practicality of commercial air travel. Not content with horizontal distances, Amelia also sought to conquer vertical heights. In 1931, she set an altitude record for autogyros, reaching 18,415 feet, and later broke her own record by flying a Pitcairn PCA-2 autogyro to 20,330 feet. High-altitude flying posed unique challenges, from reduced oxygen levels to extreme cold. Amelia's successful altitude flights tested the limits of both pilot and aircraft, contributing valuable data to the fields of aviation medicine and aircraft design. Through her altitude records, Amelia not only pushed the boundaries of what was physically possible but also helped advance the understanding of aviation technology. Her efforts played a crucial role in developing safer, more capable aircraft. For her contributions to aviation, Amelia was awarded the Gold Medal of the National Geographic Society by President Herbert Hoover, among other accolades. These honors recognized not just her bravery and skill, but also her significant contributions to the field of aviation. Amelia Earhart's ambition to fly around the world was not just a dream but a planned mission that required precision and extensive preparation. In 1937, she began her first attempt to circumnavigate the globe from Oakland, California, aiming to cover 29,000 miles equipped with the latest navigation technology in her Lockheed Electra. The preparation for Amelia's flight was as complex as the journey itself. It involved not only technological enhancements to her aircraft but also arranging for fuel and supplies at stops around the world. Each leg of the journey was carefully choreographed to account for weather, geopolitical conditions, and technical support. Amelia's first attempt was fraught with challenges. Mechanical issues and a ground looping incident in Hawaii caused significant damage to her aircraft, forcing her to abort the mission. This setback was a stark reminder of the perils of global aviation during that era. Undeterred by the initial failure, Amelia's resolve only strengthened. Her determination to circumnavigate the globe was clear, as she planned to repair and retry the ambitious flight. This persistence exemplified her courage and commitment to her goals. For her second attempt, Amelia and her team made crucial adjustments to the flight plan and the aircraft. The new route was adjusted to fly eastward, starting from Miami, Florida, which presented different challenges and required even more precise navigation and planning. The global flight was not just a technical challenge but also a logistical one, involving coordination with multiple countries for clearances and support. This endeavor required diplomatic as well as technical skills, showcasing Amelia's role as an international aviation ambassador. On June 1, 1937, Amelia Earhart set out from Miami on her second and final attempt to fly around the world. With renewed vigor and a meticulously planned route, she embarked on what would become one of the most famous flights in aviation history. As Amelia took to the skies, the world watched with bated breath. Her flight captured the imagination of millions, symbolizing not just the quest for aviation milestones but also the human spirit's unyielding pursuit of overcoming the impossible. On June 1, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, began their ambitious attempt to circumnavigate the globe from Miami. The Electra was loaded with the latest navigation equipment and provisions needed for their long journey across diverse and often inhospitable terrains. With a calm yet resolute expression, Amelia climbed into her aircraft, fully aware of the risks ahead but driven by a passion for flying and exploration. Her determination was palpable, as she aimed not just to make history, but to pave the way for future aviators. As the engines roared to life, a crowd gathered to witness her departure, aware of the significance of the moment. Amelia waved briefly, then focused on the cockpit instruments, her mind already on the complex navigation challenges ahead. Amelia and Fred faced numerous challenges as they journeyed eastward across continents and oceans. They navigated through unpredictable weather patterns, technical difficulties, and the constant threat of mechanical failure, each leg of the journey fraught with its own unique perils. At each stop, from Brazil to India, Amelia interacted with local officials and aviation enthusiasts. These moments were brief respites from the grueling demands of flight, allowing for essential maintenance and recalibration of their equipment. Night flights over the Pacific posed the greatest risk, with endless ocean below and limited celestial navigation cues. The darkness added a layer of complexity to an already daunting task, testing both Amelia's piloting skills and Fred's navigation expertise. As Amelia and Fred approached the challenging Pacific legs of their journey, the world watched and waited. Every radio transmission was eagerly anticipated, with millions following their progress, hopeful yet anxious about the outcome. The final transmissions from the Electra were fraught with tension and uncertainty. As Amelia approached Howland Island, her next critical refueling stop, the stakes were incredibly high. The world held its breath, hoping for the best but fearing the worst. On July 2, 1937, as Amelia Earhart approached Howland Island, the final radio communications between her Lockheed Electra and the ground station were fraught with static and urgency. The crew on the island strained over the radio, trying to make out her words, which indicated severe difficulties with navigation and fuel. Despite the advancements in aviation technology, the radio equipment used for communication was still unreliable over vast ocean distances. Amelia's transmissions were intermittent and increasingly desperate, mentioning overcast skies and her inability to locate the island. The Coast Guard cutter Itasca played a crucial role in the search efforts, attempting to guide Amelia to Howland Island. Their logs recorded several attempts to communicate and direct her using radio bearings, but technical limitations and severe weather conditions hampered their efforts. Amelia's last known transmission indicated her position as north and south, along the island's line without citing the island itself. The chilling finality of her voice as she mentioned running low on gas remains one of the most haunting aspects of her disappearance. The Pacific Ocean, the world's largest and deepest ocean, was the stage for Amelia's final flight. The challenges she faced were immense, navigating tiny specks of islands scattered over thousands of miles of open water, with only celestial navigation and rudimentary radio equipment. Experts believe that a combination of adverse weather, faulty navigation equipment, or simple human error in calculating fuel reserves could have led to her disappearance. The precise conditions that day may have included stronger than anticipated headwinds or cloud cover that obscured celestial bodies critical for navigation. The vastness of the Pacific Ocean has swallowed many aircraft and ships, making the search and recovery operations incredibly challenging. Despite numerous searches over the decades, the exact location of Amelia's crash site remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. Amelia Earhart's disappearance resonated deeply across the globe. Her adventurous spirit and relentless pursuit of new frontiers captured the imagination of millions. Her sudden vanishing act left a void in the hearts of admirers and marked a poignant moment in aviation history. Immediately following Amelia Earhart's last transmission, an extensive search operation was launched. The U.S. Navy and Coast Guard, utilizing ships, planes, and human resources, commenced one of the largest search and rescue missions of that time, determined to find Amelia and her navigator, Fred Noonan. Advanced for its time, the search equipment included radio direction finders and aerial reconnaissance technologies. Despite these efforts, the vastness of the Pacific Ocean and the limited accuracy of the period's navigational technologies posed significant challenges. The search wasn't confined to American military efforts. Local islanders and international volunteers joined in, combing nearby islands and atolls that Amelia might have reached. This collective endeavor highlighted the global impact of her mission and the widespread hope for her safe return. The emotional weight of the search was heavy on all involved, from the rescue crews who tirelessly scanned the ocean to Amelia's family, who held out hope amid growing despair. Each day brought intense strain, reflecting the depth of Amelia's global influence and the widespread hope for a miracle. News of Amelia Earhart's disappearance quickly circled the globe, making front-page headlines in numerous countries. The world was gripped by the story, reflecting not only her fame but also the broader implications for early aviation and the role of daring pioneers in pushing human limits. Around the world, people gathered around radios, waiting for any news of Amelia's fate. Vigils were held, and prayers were said, underscoring the deep emotional connection that the public felt for Amelia, who was seen not just as a pilot but as a symbol of courage and ambition. Fellow aviators and notable personalities expressed their admiration for Amelia's bravery and their sorrow over her disappearance. Figures like Eleanor Roosevelt remarked on Amelia's inspirational role and the tragic nature of her loss to the world. In the years following her disappearance, numerous memorials and tributes were established in Amelia's honor, from statues and museum exhibits to educational scholarships in aviation. These commemorations serve as lasting reminders of her legacy, ensuring that her spirit and achievements continue to inspire future generations. In the weeks following Amelia Earhart's disappearance, several theories emerged about her fate. These ranged from crash landing at sea to reaching an uninhabited island. Early search efforts focused on these theories, combing vast stretches of the Pacific but finding no trace of Earhart or her navigator, Fred Noonan. Amidst the official search, there were numerous reported sightings and supposed radio transmissions from Amelia. Some enthusiasts and researchers believed these signals were genuine, suggesting that she might have landed on a remote island and survived for a period. These claims spurred additional searches but ultimately led to dead ends. Historians and aviators have long debated the validity of these early theories, analyzing flight conditions, fuel calculations, and navigational challenges. While some theories suggested navigational errors led to a fatal fuel shortage, others speculated about a possible spy mission gone awry during the tense pre-World War II era. For the Earhart family and the public, these theories kept Amelia's story alive in the collective memory, transforming her from a pioneering aviator to a subject of one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. The continued interest in her disappearance speaks volumes about her enduring legacy. With advancements in technology, the search for Amelia Earhart has entered a new phase. Modern expeditions have utilized satellite imagery, deep-sea robots, and forensic science to explore areas of interest identified in historical analyses and anecdotal reports. One of the most promising locations, Nikumaroro Island, previously known as Gardner Island, has been the focus of several high-profile searches. Evidence such as improvised tools and remnants of a 1930s campsite have led some to believe Amelia may have survived there for a time. Forensic teams have analyzed items recovered from these expeditions, including a piece of aluminum and a jar of freckle cream, which some suggest could have belonged to Amelia. While conclusive proof remains elusive, these findings add intriguing layers to the ongoing mystery. Today's researchers remain divided over the fate of Amelia Earhart, with new theories and evidence continuing to emerge. Each piece of the puzzle that comes to light offers hope that one day the full story of her final flight might be revealed, providing closure to one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. Amelia Earhart was more than a record-setting aviator. She was a beacon of possibility for women in a field dominated by men. Her achievements and her advocacy opened doors and shattered the glass ceiling in aviation, encouraging countless women to follow in her footsteps. As a founding member of the 99s, Amelia helped create a support network for female pilots. This organization not only celebrated women's achievements in aviation but also provided crucial support, mentoring, and scholarships, fostering a community that thrives to this day. Today, many women in aviation, from pilots to aerospace engineers, cite Amelia as a key influence. Her legacy is not just in the flights she completed, but in the confidence she instilled in other women to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The Amelia Earhart Fellowship, established in her honor, continues to empower women pursuing advanced studies in aerospace-related sciences and engineering. Each year, it reminds us that Amelia's spirit transcends generations, inspiring women to reach for the stars. Amelia Earhart's disappearance had a profound impact on aviation safety standards. Her fate underscored the inherent risks of early flight and led to significant advancements in flight tracking, navigation, and communication systems, ultimately making flying safer for all. The lessons learned from Amelia's final flight helped catalyze the development of global positioning systems, GPS, and satellite communication. These technologies, which are now fundamental to modern aviation safety, trace back to the need that was highlighted by her and other early aviators' experiences. Globally, Amelia's name is synonymous with advancements in aviation safety. Programs and initiatives named after her work tirelessly to promote safety education among pilots, ensuring that the challenges she faced do not recur in modern aviation. Amelia Earhart's legacy is also evident in pilot training and safety manuals across the world, where her flights are studied as key learning scenarios. These materials help educate new pilots about the importance of preparation, risk management, and the use of technology in flight safety. Amelia Earhart's life and mysterious disappearance have captivated the imaginations of filmmakers and authors for decades. Her story has been the subject of numerous movies, documentaries, and books, each portraying her as a symbol of courage and perseverance. These works explore not only her aviation feats but also her personal life, highlighting her role as a pioneer for women. In literature, Amelia has become a character that transcends the boundaries of biography. She appears in children's books, inspiring young readers with her adventurous spirit and encouraging them to dream big. Her presence in educational materials also helps teach lessons about history, gender equality, and the science of aviation. Creators often mention the blend of heroism and mystery surrounding Amelia as a key reason her story is so compelling. Writers and directors strive to capture her spirit, using her life as a canvas to explore themes of exploration, the breaking of societal limits, and the eternal human quest for knowledge. Beyond books and screens, Amelia has inspired countless artists, who have depicted her in statues, paintings, and music. These artistic interpretations continue to perpetuate her legacy, each piece capturing a different facet of her enigmatic persona. Amelia Earhart's name graces numerous educational institutions and scholarship programs, especially those encouraging young women to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. These programs not only honor her legacy but actively perpetuate her spirit by empowering a new generation to explore and innovate. Many schools incorporate Amelia's story into their curricula to teach students about resilience and pursuit of one's passions against all odds. Competitions and science fairs dedicated to her memory encourage students to undertake their own explorations and discoveries. Educational workshops and aviation camps also draw inspiration from Amelia's legacy, providing hands-on experiences in flying and aircraft design. These programs demystify the field of aviation for young enthusiasts, much like Amelia sought to do during her lifetime. The recipients of scholarships and participants in educational programs bearing Amelia's name often speak of her as a role model whose life story has inspired them to reach for the stars. Educators also reflect on the importance of her legacy in promoting gender equality and perseverance in their teachings. Amelia Earhart's disappearance has become one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century, spawning numerous theories and expeditions aimed at uncovering the truth. This enduring mystique has kept her memory alive in the public imagination, turning her into both a historical icon and a subject of myth. From postage stamps to statues and museum exhibits, Amelia Earhart has been memorialized around the world. These tributes not only honor her achievements but also perpetuate the romantic aura of her adventurous spirit and untimely disappearance. Annual events and gatherings in Amelia's honor not only pay homage to her life but also serve as forums for discussing women's roles in aviation and beyond. Speakers at these events often cite her as a catalyst for change, inspiring people to challenge the status quo and break new ground. The stream of new books, films, and scholarly articles about Amelia Earhart testifies to her lasting appeal. Each new work attempts to shed light on her personality, her motivations, and her fateful last journey, keeping her story relevant and inspirational for new generations. Modern technology has allowed new generations of explorers to continue the search for Amelia's aircraft, using sophisticated sonar and satellite imaging. These efforts not only speak to the hope of solving her mystery but also to the advances in technology inspired by her pioneering legacy. Amelia's life serves as a powerful educational tool, teaching lessons about courage and perseverance in the face of adversity. Schools and educational programs across the globe use her story to inspire students to pursue their passions and overcome obstacles. Many young aviators and adventurers cite Amelia Earhart as a direct inspiration for their careers and journeys. Her legacy of daring and exploration continues to encourage a diverse array of people to take bold risks and chart their own courses. Amelia's fate continues to be a topic of fascination at various symposia and conferences, where experts and enthusiasts gather to speculate about her last flight and discuss the lessons learned from her aviation practices. These discussions ensure that Amelia Earhart remains a vital part of the dialogue on aviation safety and exploration.